My name is Dr. Louis. As you can see there, President PSK, also a pharmacist. I work for MedKit when I'm not serving as a PSK president, where we do capacity strengthening, supply chain and logistics, and also scoring data. We give you scoring data that you can actually use for fundraising. We also do community access and network engagement, so helping you with brand building and things like that. We do this because we used to run a pharmacy chain called Halton's before it was bought, and we are about empowering and equipping and catalyzing change within our colleagues, and that's something I'm really proud of and I like to be associated with. So we've been doing a 4-part series. As you can see, today we're in the final end. We're talking about sustainability, but we started talking about, the awareness of change response. Yeah, awareness of changing your environment and the response that can, lead to that. We started by talking about in pharma sector. We specifically started talking about the issues around levels of practice and why we need those. What external factors are affecting that, and seeing what is your responsibility in that. Part 2, we talked about understanding change, the landscape. We broadened a bit and looked at different stakeholders and how you can work with the different stakeholders, mapping them, knowing what is their contribution and how they they can affect the impact of change. How are they driving it and how are they shaping that? We also looked at navigating change. In there, we also looked at there's the new SHA, Social Health Authority, and the 3 bills that come along with the funds, rather. The primary health fund, how it affects us, the social health fund, how it affects us, and the chronic care fund, how it affects us. And today we are talking about sustaining change. Yes, change has happened, but then how do you create a culture of change? So objectives today around understanding the threats to sustainability of change, something called initiative decay. Something erupted, change erupted, we're all excited, all of a sudden it starts trickling down and decaying. Identifying and applying actions that can contribute to sustainability of change. We'll do a little exercise there. Appreciate the challenges and rewards that accompany performing change management role. I can guarantee you sometimes leading change can be a thankless job. And sometimes you lead the change, those who come after you benefit more than you who were there taking the initiative. Because maybe when you started it, things were rough and not clear, but people have been sitting back, researching, reading. You are building an aeroplane as you fly. Yeah. But those who come later, the jumbo jet is already built them. They're just flying in your air like that. Yeah. Why would you want to lead change then? We'll talk about that. What are the rewards and the challenges? Identifying the competencies. So one of the key rewards of driving change is you gain some skills, knowledge, and certain attributes that can actually make you so marketable in any sphere, whether you are marketable as a husband or a wife, marketable as a pharmacist or a farm tech or a specialist, marketable as a manager, marketable as a, whatever it is that you are, you like spending your time doing, and understanding how to develop an action plan. So after all this, change is personal. The way Regarder says politics is local, change is personal. Yes, in as much as it happens out there, we know change can be driven by COVID happened. We all have to respond. But the next thing is sometimes one of the ways of guaranteeing future success, future growth is looking back and saying, okay, let me change this. Because if I change this, this and this will happen and we'll go and go and go, like that. Yeah. So that's what we want to run through today by the end of this and be able to just take a step back, reflect, and close the session. Remember, the sessions are recorded. They're available for you to be able to access online. I think they're just waiting for me to finish the session, and I'll give the MCQs for the session, then they'll be available for you online. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. There's a guy called Benjamin Franklin. He says that the man who is in the arena, like Kina Eliud Kipchoge, they're in the arena. People are saying, oh, Kipchoge dropped out, all those things, but they're the ones in the arena. They are, for sure, they will make mistakes. Whenever you are there, you want to set up for change, you'll make mistake. People will say, no, 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 what you're doing, it doesn't making sense to us. Yeah. But the biggest mistake of all is doing nothing. Yeah. So I want you to think back. Oh, let's put it on the chart there. Yeah. Think back to recent changes in your organization. Yeah. What factors killed that momentum? Because one of the things as you're leading change, driving change, is even if you are like Kipchoge, sometimes the momentum gets killed. Yeah. You saw he dropped out. The momentum got killed. We don't know whatever reason it was, something in his muscle, but a change happened in the organization. Put it on the chart. What sort of killed that the manager was promoted and taken off? You see it a lot of it in the public sector pharmacy sphere. I used to be a district pharmacist in Samburu district those days in 2006, 7, and 8. You start implementing things, the next thing you've been posted out. You've been called to Nakuru, you've been posted, like that. Or you decide like me, what I decided I want to be an entrepreneur. I left. So what happened to the change? The momentum sort of slowed down. But I thank God other pharmacists came and they drove the agenda. Because even me, I found the change from another pharmacist. Any ideas you have on things that will kill momentum of change? Staff changes, staff turnover, lack of budget. That's a big one. I don't know where you work from. Then you wonder, kwani, is this business mine or is it for the organization? Yeah. Yeah. So we want to talk about momentum killers. Yeah. Maybe that will give you an idea of what are some of these things that can, kill momentum, what you're calling initiative decay. So these are factors that even if change has happened, yeah, successfully, tumefanya change, tumefanya the cycles of change is there. We can see things are different. But over time, things are changing. Yeah. We go back to status quo. And understanding these threats is crucial for us in maintaining and reinforcing the positive outcomes of any change initiative. So it's important we understand these things so that when they happen, we are able to navigate that. What are some of these things? Leadership turnover. Staff come, staff go. Yeah. Like someone says, this is not biashara ya mama yangu. Some things go, but it could be your biashara. It could be your business. You're the owner. Yeah. There are also other people who subscribe to the notion that, yes, I'm a Christian. The business belongs to God. It's not mine. Yeah. God provides, leadership turnover. And I don't think God can abandon you. That's on. I apologize for digressing. But yes, diffuse accountability. There's no one specific person accountable. You are someone who's responsible here. It's just the buck stops. There's nowhere the buck stops. Especially, you find like in pharmacies where the owner really micromanages. Yeah, no data is shared about how many customers we have seen, where the repeat customers coming from. Your work is just to go punch in and dish out. But there's no being able to sit and say, okay, this month we need to make let's say 1 million sales. So that is called that's another session, a training session. It's called an indicator, a key performance indicator, but it's a lagging indicator. You'll only know you have sold 1 million at the end of the month. But before the month, you should be able to sit all of you together and sit down and say, you need to be accountable for calling repeat customers. So how many did you call last month? 0. Okay. This month, let's call 20. Then, keep going on and on and on like that. So when there's no accountability, when there's knowledge loss, yeah, there's no depository of information. Hiyo ni machogo tu anajua. Yeah, you come to PSK, oh, that's the CEO. And CEO Dr. Ratemo is the one who knows what happens there. We don't know. Yeah, you recruit new people with their old habits. There are no triggers for change that you can see. So that sometimes also we are motivated when we see change happening and progressing. Yeah, new managers come with different agenda. President Kibaki, whom I served as a district pharmacist, came. He gave us Vision 2030. The next president came, give us big four agenda. The next one came, gave us better bottom up transformational agenda. Yeah. Then what happens is there's no there's no what do you call it? We are not growing. There's no compounding effect. Everyone's starts, and so the change that President Kibaki left, and I think it was really transformational because we in the business sector used to get lent money for business at single digits, yeah. But now we are back to double digits and even up to past 20%, yeah. So that's what happens when the new managers come in with different agendas, or they are power brokers in what we'll say in our country, corruption. People who sort of manage change. If you don't give us something, we won't do. If you don't give us something, you won't get promoted. I'm just from visiting my dad in Kisii. He was telling me there's a trend. Parents are no longer taking their children to the polytechnics because they would rather take them to give someone some money, recruiting something, then and the places where they go, yeah. I don't want to mention them and get in trouble, but yes, they want to go bribe someone with 100,000, take their child to get a job or something somewhere like that. Then the next thing, there are no returns from that. But next door, there's a polytechnic. They could have actually taken their child there, done an entrepreneurship course, and they actually, thrive. Yeah. So, but in our country, we have things called power brokers. Yeah. You can't get promoted until something happens. Yeah. I know it doesn't happen in pharmacy, but yes, in other sector, it's like that. And other priorities are happening. Things are diverted, funding has moved on, funding ended, and there's initiative fatigue. Yeah. Some of you understand what initiative fatigue is. It's like every time you come to work, you're just being given targets being raised, but it's like, why are we doing this? I can't see any impact. Yeah. Or apart from just the owner gets money in their pocket and I'm just sitting here. There's no there is no benefit. So to overcome, it's important to know the causes of initiative decay so that we can see ways of overcoming them. Yeah. We're going to do an exercise immediately after this. Yeah. So some of the ways of overcoming leadership turnover is instituting succession planning. So I've been president of PSK for the last 7 years. Of course, there are issues around transition. Will the society transit? What you usually see is someone decides to put a project, like President Uhuru gave us a project wake ya kushinda, yeah, but the next person came, yeah. So we don't know if it was if we had voted for the other projects, things will have been better or not. We don't know. But now they seem to be working together. Let's wait and see. But you have to institute succession planning. How I have decided to institute succession planning in the society is by working with the committee of the Honorable Fellows, because the committee of the Honorable Fellows are going to be there whether there's this president or not. And how can we broaden that and ensure that Honorable Fellows are put into place in the society so that we can have a big pool and we have a pool of people we can relate to. People who maybe we are in the recent past have made substantial contribution to the profession. So that's how you deal with leadership turnover. Diffuse accountability, you need to look at the roles and responsibilities, JDs, regularly update that and see whether there's ownership. Yeah. Knowledge loss, you need to have a knowledge management system. We have that in PSK. We did an assessment and we found that, wow, PSK, we have challenges in knowledge management because when Machogu is not there, when Dr. Ratema is not there, no one knows where what is. And when we worked with Dr. Daniela, the previous CEO, what we actually did was knowledge management. And we have a all SOP around that. If you want our documents, they're somewhere. We want all the minutes of meetings, they're all there. Recordings of meetings, they're all there. and how do you onboard a new staff, how do you train them and things like that. That's how you deal with knowledge loss. Recruiting new people with their old habits, of course, training, integrating them into the culture, introducing them of why are we here, discuss those things, celebrate milestones around. Also, they can also be matched into that. New managers with different agendas. So it's about I think that's what President Ruto did. There were different, what do you call them, CSs running with different things. Every month they're creating a new tax. Another one wants to tax your chicken. Another one wants to tax your car before it's registered every year, before you get insurance and all those things. So how then do you bring them back and say, okay, guys, this is where you are? And I think what you can also do is fire them and bring in and clarify, because maybe when you set out, maybe when President Ruto set out, he did not clarify objectives, or everyone just was led to go on their own. So you need to reclarify. So when they're coming in, they need to sign up and say, this is what we are about and this is what we are subscribing into. Because they will say, by the way, me, when you hired me, this is what you hired me for. So they need to resign into a new. Some of you manage people. That's what you need to be able to do. Power brokers who are blocking progress, you need to do a lot of stakeholder engagement, leverage alliances. You'll be able to talk, oh, I know in that organization, if I talk to Nani, if I speak to this specific person, they'll be able to be my ambassador from the inside. And of course, have transparent communication, because there's one thing that usually people assume is when information is minimal, they assume you're a cartel, yeah, or they become insecure and wonder, what angle do you have against me? Yeah, funding depletion, you need to demonstrate a return on investment, like we discussed last week. Seek sustainable funding. You can apply for grants and look for alternative resources for funding. Emergence of other priorities. It's important to have a framework. Yeah, we are not gonna just work because of the goodwill of the CEO or the goodwill of the department head or the goodwill of the owner of the company. No, what is the plan? What's the framework we said we are going to work with on this year? And if new priorities come in, how can we reintegrate them with existing priorities so that we can actually say, oh, okay, let's move this piece there, so we have flexibility in our approach. And how to deal with initiative fatigue, pace and sequence. Don't try to change everything in one go. I don't know if anyone knows the answer to this, but how do you eat an elephant? I don't know if there's anyone who knows the answer to that riddle. How do you eat an elephant? Yeah, you need to pace and sequence, one bite at a time. Have round tables, and that's what you see with President Ruto. He has these round table meetings, engaging people, and regularly, recognition and rewards. Do you have a rewarding mechanism, and what does it, how does it see people in that? So I want this to be a bit engaging. So I know the next thing will be having the questions coming up, but I want us to talk about something, the elephant in the room in our profession. The elephant in the room, and I've been dealing with this since I joined PSK Council. I joined PSK Council in 2011. So I want to give a case study, a real case study. From 2011, now we are in 2024. Yeah. So when I joined PSK in 2011, the big issue then was, farm techs versus pharmacists. It was a fight. Why are farm techs allowed to do this? Why are pharmacists equated to a farm tech? Things like that. And it sort of has stunted our profession because we are looking inwards, fighting. And what happens on the outside, our profession does not have a profile that is, because we are the people in the house. Yeah. So as we started analyzing what the problem was, we saw that, wow, there needs to be role definition, yeah, or redesigning of the roles, because when the practice of pharmacist was introduced, an amendment was done in the 90s that sort of just introduced a farm tech, but without defining the roles. So in the Act, the pharmacist was defined, but the farm tech was not defined. But alas, we have 10,000 farm techs, and we have 5,000 pharmacists. So, what do we do? But the law is like, it's clear, yeah? There's a role of a pharmacist, but the farm tech, it's just been introduced. So what happened, we decided, okay, let's start discussing and defining what are roles. And that's why we decided to come up with the levels of practice. I'll do a recap of the things that we've been discussing, yeah? We also look at redesigning the reward system. We also were hearing that e-pharmacy haina pesa. That's why it doesn't pay. Yeah. So that's why I lease my license. Yeah. And that's why we started discussing and working out, okay, there is you remember when the CS Cecily Kariuki, I think, when she came in, she created an edge. Is it CS Kariuki or the next one? She created a group of people who are meant to relook at NHIF and change it. That's when us as PSK, we had pharmacists in there, and we also had contribution to see where are their reward mechanism for the services of pharmacy. And we looked at Asia, we looked at the US, and we saw, okay, there needs to be pharmacy benefit packages that then incentivize the pharmacists to practice at a certain level, the farm tech to practice at a certain level, so that they can be able to get a farm tech can be able, who's incentivized to be a pharmacist, can get money to upgrade. A pharmacist can get money to be upgrade to a specialist, so that they can be reimbursed for their services. And again, linking linking leadership selection to change objectives. We are going to an election year as PSK. Whenever I ask, even members of KPA and PSK, whenever I ask who's going to be your next leader, yeah, or who is even your current leader, they usually say, hiyo kitata, we don't think much about it. But you know what? How will you sustain change in this sector of ours if we don't get concerned who's coming next? What are their thoughts about farm tech pharmacists? What are their thoughts about pharmacist specialists? Yeah, because one day that's going to be an issue. Yeah. And today it's an issue because we are not able to be reimbursed for services. We're not able to practice to their highest level because of, or we don't even have farm techs being able to have incentive to upgrade because there's no differentiator. We are all the same. Yeah. You need to look at walking the talk. For me, for example, I've been leading from the front. I talk about these things. I'm able to, when I meet with leaders, we're able to discuss things. But again, it can't just be Machogo talking about it. And that's what we've been talking with all of you. How can you be ambassadors that can take us from the situation, the chaos we are right now, and initiate change? Not everyone is going to be a change agent. Yeah. We just need a few farm techs, a few pharmacists, and a few specialists going out there and driving the agenda. Today there was this week we're having the conference for HOPAC. Yeah. How are you having the conversations in there? Yeah. I myself want to, next year I want to go in there and make a presentation, because this year I was time bad, I couldn't make the presentation. Yeah. And then, as you do that, how do you encourage volunteers to take initiative? There are volunteers who've come from the US, Kina Dr. Ombega, Professor Ndemo, who used to be farm techs. They upgraded to pharmacists, they upgraded to specialists. And they've come and told us by day to open our eyes. Sometimes we look at them and we think they are mad people. Sometimes I've had to take a step back and see, by the way, when I see someone coming and talking about something new, I've had someone like Dr. Kadare come talk about MTM. Yeah. I've had, Professor Ndemo come talk about FAMD. And initially, they sound like mad people. But you need to encourage people who take initiative, volunteers, yeah, who empowered members who can say, because, if we don't create this future, what will happen to our sector? It will collapse and die. So let's embrace leaders who come to us, like in a Professor Ndemo, who see some change. They can even talk to you about something. You can't even understand it. I can't understand a pharmacist being reimbursed for services. I thought a pharmacist can only get medicine. Oh, we need to separate the profession of pharmacy from the product. How can that be? What will we be doing? Like that. And so we need to see where the world is going, and there needs to be a few of us who can go, and we need to call them to task and put them to task and ask them, this place you're taking us, show us where else it's happening. Show us even you, where are you doing it that it's happening, yeah? And celebrate smaller wins and fine-tune the approach, yeah? So initially, our initial approach was just fight, fight, fight. In the recent past, as you see, it's about engaging. And that's why we're having this even CPD event, so that we can talk together as a family, farm techs and pharmacists and specialists, yeah? What change do you want in our sector? And that's why these sessions are recorded, so that you can have a link to it and even share with other people, so that you can even recruit more ambassadors, because that's how the tree that is bearing fruit today was planted by some people, yeah, a decade ago, 20 years ago. So don't be tired about initiating change. And I'll be talking about, some of the challenges and rewards for change. This is a change manager's experience, and this is actually my experience. I'm actually talking about from my own experience. Yeah. As I've shared there, challenges are common: navigating resistance. You start talking about, we need to recognize upgrading of farm techs. You get attacked all over the place. Yeah. And it's natural, because what do you mean upgrade farm techs? And then if they upgrade, what will happen next? Balancing expectations. I remember initially we were talking about upgrading farm techs. We're saying, oh, no, maybe what we need to do is just convert all of them into pharmacists and stop the training. But then you wonder, what will KMTC do? Yeah. And is that really what we are saying? I think we are saying, when after further discussion, we're able to deal with the uncertainties, explain, okay, no one is killing the diploma. The diploma can be there, KMTC is there, but what you're saying is, can we have levels? So that when the diploma person is compensated for their services, they're able to refer what they can't do to the pharmacists and the specialists. And as what you can now see, we have in the primary health fund, the social health insurance fund, and the chronic care fund. If those things would have come into place without our house being in order, without PVB having the levels of practice, scheduling, and benefit schemes, we wouldn't be able to be recognized. We'll be here without, all we'll just be seeing is our profession going down and down and down, because product, as they say, anyone can own a pharmacy and even, employ you there or not employ you there. But then the service, it's only you. And you need an insurance and indemnity cover. So you, with your practice license, have a birthright. Stress and workload. This work is very stressful. If you ask those of us who are married, our spouses, they know how stressful this driving change. Sometimes you're like a mad person, and maintaining momentum takes a lot of energy. Leading PSK, for example, I think even KPA, the leaders who lead KPA, I don't think it's a paid role. Yeah, it's about the passion and what you are driving. Yeah, and of course it has complex interpersonal dynamics. Today you talk. Last year, before President Ruto reshuffled, the CS was a farm tech. The previous season, the CAS was a pharmacist, yeah? And then, we are all fighting each other and we still have to talk with each other. So how then do you move, yeah? So are some of the challenges that you get to, but here are the rewards. Some of you are wondering, why would I then want to lead change? If this Kazi is so, thankless like this. But the rewards are, you get personal and professional growth. Of course, you get some skills, career advancement. I've gotten interest to do certain courses because I have been addressing change, to even improve the scope of my strategic thinking and things like that. You have a sense of accomplishment. I can actually say, 20 years from now, if the fruits of what you have planted, the seeds we planted come to be seen, I'll be fully, I'll be able to see my tangible impacts and be satisfied. Yeah. It builds your resilience. It enhances your learning capabilities. Like I've said, it's positive organizational impact. Empowering others. We've been able to, those of you know me, I'm about empowering, and we have a lot of even young pharmacists that we've empowered. That's why I usually say Mbele iko sawa, because the profession is actually moving in a good trajectory. And of course, you're able to make a difference. Huh? So I'd like to do some exercise, because if you want to sustain change, you need to be able to know there's some competence that you need, yeah, as a change manager. So remember, we said not everyone can be a change manager. You need some strategic thinking skills. yeah, which is the ability to see something that is not there. Like in a Professor Ndemo, Professor Ombega, the late Professor Ombega, they're coming and they're talking about something you never even, they're saying pharmacists should be reimbursed. Professor Ombega used to speak that when he used to teach us in university in 2003. Yeah. So, and up to today, it has not come to pass because of the process of change. Yeah. So you need to be able to understand, you have a competence around strategic thinking, leadership and influence, and communication skills. And even just being able to network, being able to reach out to, have some charisma, presence. So you might be sitting there and wondering, oh, how do I think, what innate things do I have that can actually make me predisposed to be a change agent, a catalyst for change. Yeah, you have charisma, you have emotional intelligence and empathy. You're able to approach issues with openness. There are some of us who, majority of us as professionals, whenever you say share that thing, their first response is, oh wait, if I share it, then people will know. Yes, people will know. That's why we need to share it. Yeah, but some things around revolve around trust, so you can't just share everything, data protection and things like that. But there's some things that make you predisposed to be a change agent, and some of them are networking. How good are you at networking? Yeah. Um, those of you who are online and can do this exercise with us, there's some 16 questions there. Do you enjoy, if you have a piece of paper, just put your piece of paper somewhere. It's either you enjoy or disagree. I'll just tell you what that means. Yeah? So number one, are we together? I want us to do this exercise. Then we evaluate what that means. Huh? The question you are asking is, do you have the competencies? Are you predisposed to networking? Yeah. Or is it that you have to go and work on it? Number one, do you enjoy finding out what other people do? You either yes or no. Yeah. For myself, I do. I feel embarrassed asking people for favors. Do you feel you know and I think I used to be like that. I used to have a shame around asking for help or asking for a favor. I can offer a favor, but receiving a favor was an issue. Yeah, I find Christmas cards to ex-colleagues, and I send Christmas cards to ex-colleagues and business contacts. I usually call and or email former colleagues, from your previous job. Um, that one for me, I don't. So you can answer disagree or agree. I don't like to waste time going for conferences. I cannot remember the names and family details of any of my team members. I cut out articles from the press that I think might interest colleagues. I share, I go online, I get something, I share it on the WhatsApps. I'm quick to return phone calls. I have a challenge with that. I pursue opportunities to work on committees, task force, and projects. I like to solve problems on my own. I'm happy to ask people for their business cards. I go for social events with people outside my team. I have lost touch with my ex-bosses, ex-worker, colleagues. I use the internet to make contact with people in my field. I do not mix work and social life. Either you agree or disagree. Yeah. So if you agreed on from number 1 to 15, I want you to if you agree with any of this, uh, so give yourself 1 point. So here, number 1, 3, 4, 7, if you're writing them down, 9, because they're all random, 10, 12, and 13, and 15. You give yourself one score like that. Give yourself 1 point each if you disagreed on the following: 2, 5, 6, 8, 11, 14. So you can take a screenshot so that you can go do this exercise by yourself, because it's important that because you need networking for advancing change. Yeah, so take a screenshot of this, Again, it will be available on the Daktari online platform. So if you have a score of 0 to 5, you do not appear to have much networking in you. Yeah, so you might want to ask, what can you do to lift your profile to make yourself more visible? Because you might be, by the way, sometimes you are there and you're being overlooked for promotion. Like I told you in the last session that some of the people who get promotions are the people who put themselves out there and drive a change. Yeah. 6 to 9, your network is little. but you could do a bit more in terms of relationships that will improve your career opportunities. So maybe go for conferences, do a session like this. You can be able to say, okay, let me go study about a certain topic I think the organization needs, and I can, like even for me, well, that's what I did about change. I went and studied change and came and did a session. 10 to 13, you are competent networker, but you could improve. Yeah. What areas are you not covering from what we just looked at here? Yeah. And do you need to do more external networking? So it's only you who knows, but it heightens your awareness. 14 to 16, it looks like you are a natural networker. There's a guy called Bao. If you know him in our pharmacist circles, you know that he's very aggressive networker. If you do this exercise, I think he would score highly on. This is where he will be, 14 and 16. Yeah. However, you may need to be careful not to overplay this aspect of your profile building, as there is a danger that this can, annoy and come off negative to other people. Yeah. Let's go next to the next competencies before you do the next exercise. I was just trying to see online if there are people who, yeah, there you go. So yeah, so other competencies that you need is project management. You can't barely change without project management skills, or else then things. So project management involves planning, organizing, managing timelines. If you're always getting late, you'll have a challenge with this. And that's why I'm saying be aware so that you can say, okay, next year, you don't just put goals of losing weight. Next year, say, I want to grow in project management. And specifically, I want to be able to grow in managing timelines and budgets and risks, things like that. The knowledge that you'll gain is familiarity with project management skills, methodologies, understanding tools and techniques. There are tools of project management, yeah. And the people who are predisposed to good project management are people who are detail-oriented mindset. And I think many pharmacists and pharmtechs fall around this place. They are very detail-oriented, and that's why we are good with quality. Yeah, strong organizational skills and abilities, change management expertise. The people who are predisposed are people who have They are flexible. It's the opposite of the attributes of the other one. Yeah, they are persistent and have resilience. Yeah, the skills there is proficiency in change management. You can be able to manage things, and ability to design and implement change initiatives. And once you're able to look at the competence and see, I have a gap in this, you can actually go and take it up and add that into your CV so that you can be able to be promoted from where you are, yeah, because you made that as an agenda, growth agenda for yourself. Problem solving and decision making. People who have an analytical mindset and are confident and decisive. I'm very confident when I say we need to have a continuum where we have pharmtechs, pharmacists, and specialists. Yeah, I know it will annoy people. I know the people will look at me like that, but I also know that there are people who can see that future needs to come today because our house needs to be put in order. Emotional intelligence, resilience, and stress management, and facilitation and coaching. Yeah. So guys who have self-awareness and they can manage themselves. Empathy and social skills. Those are guys who have emotional intelligence. People who have high tolerance for ambiguity and certainty. There's some colleagues, by the way, when things are not clear, they can't work. Yeah. But you're able to see things and your move. So that's the resilience, and you are able to manage stress and things like that. So you also have a positive attitude and you have perseverance. Facilitation and coaching, there are some of us who lead with patience and ability to guide others, yeah, and are collaborative. But some of us can only work tunnel. So maybe you can say, okay, I want to grow in facilitation and coaching because maybe that's the feedback you've been given by your boss. Yeah, you're very rigid. Yeah, how can you grow in those? Again, there's another self-assessment exercise here. Kindly take a screenshot. Here we want to know about, after you do this exercise, you'll be able to know how resilient you are. Yeah. When I make plans, I follow through on them. I usually manage one way or the other. I only manage one thing at a time. Yeah. I'm able to depend on myself more than anyone else. Yeah. I keep interest. Sorry. I usually wear glasses so I can't see well. I can be on my own if I have to. I keep interested in things that are important to me. I feel proud that I have accomplished things in my life. I usually take, so, how do you agree? From on a scale of 1 to 7, yeah? 7 being I totally disagree, and 1 being I fully agree. How can you rate yourself in these things? In an emergency, I'm the someone people call to, yeah? I can usually look at a situation in a number of different ways. Or do you just look at things one, yeah? So do you agree or disagree? And once you do that exercise, you can score yourself. Again, take a screenshot of this. Add all the scores that you have given. So it's either 1, 7, like that, add like that. If you have a resilience score of between 25 and 175, that's where it falls. High is above guys of 150 and above have a resilience score that shows that they're actually highly resilient. But if you're between below 90, just know you have issues about resilience. And maybe you need to work on self-care. Yeah, you need to maybe you're just working too. You only have all your friends are people of work. You don't have a life outside work. Yeah. So if you have a low score, say below, what steps can you do to improve your resilience? And how would you advise a colleague with a low resilience score? Yeah. So again, you can do this with other people at your workplace. Other competency frameworks that we can continue. This is the last one. I love this one. It's about cultural and organizational awareness. The attributes there. Someone who is sensitive to organizational norms and values. If you ask them, what is this business about? They know. Who is our customer? They know. How do we meet our customers? Like that. They have the ability to adapt to change strategies to fit into the organization. So are you that kind of a person? And if you're not, do you want to grow in this? Do you think if you grow in this, I'll be valuable to this organization? Because that's where the organization is not working. Political acumen, yeah. I usually say I love this one. I never used to be a those guys who know me from farm school know that I wasn't anything like this, yeah. But I've had to change, yeah. Are you diplomatic and tactful in your approach? Do you have an awareness of one's influence? Are you aware of your own influence and how you can use it effectively? So again, do you want to grow there? Because sometimes people think that politics is being called that your political acumen is a bad thing, but it's a competence in understanding and navigating organizational politics. There is no organization that doesn't have politics. Yeah. So for you to succeed there, you also maybe need to be aware of the politics, yeah, and your ability to build alliances and manage power dynamics. There are people, by the way, who can say, in your organization, me, I can't work with those guys. Some nurses say they can't work with some medical doctors. Some medical doctors can't work with nurses. Some pharmacists can't work with farm techs. Again, you have to navigate, be aware and navigate. Even our president, he ended up working with the opposition. Yeah. So who are we? Yeah. Learning and development orientation, you have a curiosity and openness to new ideas, and you have a growth mindset and with a willingness to adapt. Yeah. So again, where are you in all this? I'm sharing with you this because we're about to give you a template for making your own personal plan to drive change. Yeah. So personal, because we said change is personal. The way politics is local. So you're in an organization. How political is your organization? You can either rate any of these questions, take a screenshot, agree, maybe, or disagree. Yeah. In your organization, who you know matters a lot more than what you know. Do you agree, maybe, or disagree with that? Where you work, in your business, yeah? The most competent people in their business don't always get promoted. The only people who get promoted are the ones who go drinking at that kebab next door. Yeah. If you don't go there, you can't be promoted. Decisions are often taken outside formal meetings. Yeah. You come to a meeting, everyone has agreed, things are being passed. You wonder, when was it discussed? Yeah. Resource allocations between departments is a matter of fighting. Yeah. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Yeah. When mistakes are made, people are quick to start putting blame on others. Most people recognize that you are not going very far from me unless you have support of the key players. Yeah. Being open and honest at the all time can seriously damage your career. There are some places, by the way, if you're open, And that's why sometimes we are so guarded. Yeah? If you're open, you can kill your so how would you rate any of those? Huh? Take a screenshot and then also a screenshot of this. So you're in a political free zone if you scored 25 and lower. Yeah. How do you rate it? You give yourself 1 point for each item where you ticked disagree, 3 for every time you said maybe, and 5 for every time you said agree. Yeah. So this will give you a score between 15 to 75. So you can either be in a politics free zone, a free fire zone, or an average behavior zone. Yeah. So if you are 25 and lower, either there is maybe sometimes there are people, but they are so clueless. They're so clueless, or the ones who or they're the ones who are receiving favor because maybe they come from the right tribe. Yeah, they're not aware of the politics here. Yeah, vitu zake zo upasiwa. But yours on the other side, the other people don't experience the same thing. So maybe you may not be aware. Yeah, so if you are from that 25 and lower, it means that your organization has a relatively low level of political behavior. Either that or you're not aware of the politics. In such a political free zone, are you concerned that there is not enough discussion or debate between key decisions to be made? Or is it that you don't care? Sometimes you can be in a political place and maybe you don't care. Or are you concerned that you need to? And then if you're concerned, then what can you do about it? Yeah. If you're in a free fire zone, more to do things just you can even be banned, 65 and above. There's a high level of political behavior in your organization. Either that or you are reading too much into routine decisions and actions. In such a zone, you're usually concerned about too much time and energy is going into political games. Approval inafaa kutoka leo, but approval inatoka 1 month from now. Yeah, it's affecting our strategy, it's affecting our performance. Yeah, the discussions and debates are motivated more by personal goals. If I'm not benefiting anything here, yeah, I'm not going to. Siwezi pitisha budget ya pharmacy. Kama siwezi watu wa pharmacy hawezi nipatia kitu. Things like that. Yeah, or it's average. Yeah, there's still there's still too much political behavior, but maybe it needs to stimulate the quality of the discussion and debate around key issues and discussions. So it's important to do these 3 exercises to do your own self-assessment, so that, because like we said, politics change is personal, because then you can be able to know what next year my resolutions. Do I need to grow in political acumen? Do I need to grow in networking and things like that? Do I need to grow in resilience? Yeah. You can only know these things if you do an evaluation. Then once you've done that, there's, like I said, when we started, change is an opportunity, an almost guaranteed way to grow. And in brackets, I put there succeed, because the only way you can succeed in the future is if you did something today. Mimi sipendangi kupanda mbegu. If you don't plant seeds, what are you going to harvest? I only like eating fruits. Yeah. I don't like planting. But if you don't plant, how are you going to benefit? So there's a 6-step process here. Take a screenshot of it. It's also be available online. You should be able to assess, after all this, do you want to be involved in the change in your role where you work? Yeah. So evaluate the demands of where you want to go to. Yeah. Identify the key attributes of the success. What will success look like? You remember we said the benefits of change, the non-monetary benefits. Yes, they are, you'll be promoted, you'll get more money. Yes, but they're non-monetary. You'll get fulfillment, you'll get new skills and competence. Then make a decision. Do I want? If you don't want, don't take these steps. If you want, then move next. Consider your position within the change initiatives. Yeah, evaluate the scope and responsibilities, the risk and the opportunities, and do your strategic positioning. And go back to the session we did last week, yeah, on the tools that you can use to initiate change, yeah, and work around that. Number 3, develop a political skill. I didn't put this here because I'm very political. No, I'm putting this because the politics everywhere. There's politics, yeah. So understand the political dimension. Follow guidelines on for political skill development. You can go online, do a course on, that's why even our politicians do political science, but you don't have to do political science. Just do a short course on relationship with people and influencing, especially managing upwards. Yeah. Number 4, identify and maintain your strengths. Yeah. you can, but then the only way to motivate yourself is you also lead from your strength. So maintain and enhance your capabilities. Remember, look at the capabilities. Sometimes even don't be embarrassed to show off who you are and your competencies. Because that's how the company will know we have a resource person. But if you're there, you're just humble and all you do is just, I'm not saying humble in a bad way, but you're just there not wanting, it's fake humility when you don't want people to know the gifts you have, so that we can be served by them. Yeah, identify and address capability gaps. Yourself, you might realize I need to grow in the following areas. So what am I going to do next year? I'm going to do a short course on this. Next year I'm going to work with Machogu so that I can gain the following skills. Because Machogu in the department, this is what they do. Yeah, you don't even need to be transferred there. You can just be able to say, guys, I can come here and be writing reports for your minutes. And as you do that, you're able to grow in certain skills. Then develop your practical action plan, which is what we discussed last week. Yeah. So with what we have, what we know right now, yeah, these are the closing reflections. I want you to go with this, if you have been involved previously with as a manager for change, or maybe you know a manager, how would you rate yourself? Yeah, even that manager, how would you rate them? Maybe you're a young pharmacist, or a young farm tech, you've not been involved. How would you rate yourself? So you need to reflect on that. When have you been? When have you received? When have you been on the end of receiving change? And did you like it? How did that go? So that you can be able to say, oh, this is what they missed, or this is, so that you can know how to intervene. Yeah. How good are you at handling anticipated outcomes? All this will be able to tell you what do you need to do to fill in the gaps. Yeah. So finally, the reason why I did this session on change was to catalyze, to recruit change agents. I see we are now remaining 166. I think the highest we've ever been was 300, yeah, in this all session, yeah. And that's why I said not all of us will be change agents, yeah. There's some of you here who are not happy with how that pyramid structure we have on the left. Pharmacists, farm techs, there are 500, 5,000, 9,000, and one chief pharmacist at the top. We have chaos in our sector, death, high costs, poor accountability, poor value, unfulfilled careers, unemployment, underemployment, lack of initiative. We need to be able to see a future beyond where we are. Yeah, we need to be the Professor Ndemos, the Professor Ombega, the late Professor Ombega, and say we want our sector to be a continuum. We want to be able to see 7,000 pharmacists on one end, interns on the other. We have farm techs, 15,000 there, pharmacists, because remember, not everyone can specialize, because also if you specialize, it's so narrow. Yeah, and the country only needs a certain number of people. Yeah, so how can we move to there? So we have the good pharmacy practice guidelines. Please get your copy, look at it, support it, because BBB needs your support. Scheduling, support scheduling, because by scheduling, then we'll be able to move to the benefit packages, because SHA will not reimburse you as a farm tech for pharmacy services, or you as a pharmacist for specialist pharmacy services. You must embrace levels of practice and the costed benefit packages so that we can and be able to say a farm tech sees person here and the refers here and the pharmacist refers here. And we need to look at our national pharmaceutical policy and be able to move and drive change there. Where we're moving to is WHO maturity level 3, drive innovation and R&D, career development, fulfilling careers, and increase our local HPT capacity. I know it's been a long training session, but please take time, go back to the Daktari online portal and get the link and rewatch it. Number 2, go and recruit other agents, because we can't succeed if we don't have agents. Yeah, we are like the tip of a spear. We are the ones who have to drive the change. Yeah, and remember, whenever you are driving the change and you are feeling alone, you have friends here. Yeah, Machogu is one of them. So that's what we've gone through. And I would like to say thank you and take questions and refer back to Amos. Thanks, Janice. Thanks. Someone says they're challenged and they'll work on it ASAP. Yeah, so I can see we have change agents we've recruited there. Any I know it's the goodbyes are very hard. Even me, I don't like goodbyes. It kills my energy. But I'm really excited that yes, I'm with you, all of you here, and we are driving this change. Thank you for that heart there. It's encouraging. But one of the things I know is don't be scared of being the forerunner, the one driving the change. With this series, it's a 4-part series, like we said. Please go rewatch it and look at how you've been equipped to drive change, and just be, but then my phone number is here, 0705015501. And you're driving change, you feel stuck, please reach out. I wanted you to just take a screenshot of this slide. You've been equipped on your awareness of response to change, understanding change in the landscape for change. You got some tools to navigate change, and sustaining change. So with all these things, just know you're in the right company. Let's drive change. Let's ensure that our pharmacy sector is not the way we were handed over. Yeah, even if we are going to be sitting 20 years from now under a tree, and enjoying that, what the profession has become, but we are there, we're able to practice fully the way we're trained. So thank you. CPDs delay, but remember, your CPD token is valid till the end of the year. Yeah. So just be having it. Make sure you by today you've subscribed to the session for today so that you don't miss out. Because if you miss that, then you can't be able to activate it. Yeah. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Anne, Daniel. Yeah, thank you for the encouragement. Janice, Mbaka. Thank you all, Janet, Winnie, Donald, Munyasa, Purity. Thank you all for making time. Thanks, Dennis. So anything? That's Sarah Chege. Yeah, nice to see you. Thank you for the encouragement. Asante sana. Sasa tuende tufanye change, tuko pamoja. Don't feel, but the change doesn't happen in one day. Don't be frustrated. If you need encouragement, my number, like I said, is there, and you can reach out to me.